Roger Martin, any of you folks from Toronto might know him. He was dean of the business school. He was also on the board of Harvard Business School. He says that how we come to know something goes through a funnel. He calls it the knowledge funnel. And at the first end of it is mystery. This is sort of, you don't understand, there's like fragments of data that don't really make any sense. And the challenges there are people who work in the mystery end of the funnel are people who are comfortable with ambiguity. They can say, I don't know. We don't socialize folks, particularly leaders, to ever say those words. More and more we're going to be saying, I don't know. Heuristic phase of the funnel is where you kind of turn things into rule of thumb. It's sort of the phase before algorithmic. It's sort of anything a heuristic is like a guidebook, a process book, a curriculum. And in the heuristic phase, you have to deal with biases. And I think we'll become more and more aware of this, especially as we go all the way to automating things. And your biases are things like confirmation bias, recency, availability. And most importantly, especially for you folks, is expertise bias. As one of the challenges that we have is we tend to look at a problem and think you know the answer because it aligns with your expertise. Next up is algorithm, and that's when you take something that is sort of codified, whether it be in a curriculum or process manual, and you say, okay, this is where we're going to put it ahead of being automated. And that's where we've got to really use our judgment and our ethics and figure out when and how to hand things off to algorithms. And then the new area that's taking over so much more and more of what we do, and it's going to be really impacting your work, is when things actually turn into code. And our challenge when things turn into code is getting lazy, because that's what we do. You know, ChatGPT spit out something, an AI platform read a legal brief for you. Just taking those answers as true, as opposed to saying, hey, wait a minute, and questioning the assumptions that went into that. So we're going to need people to work on both ends of the spectrum. We've spent most of our last several decades living our lives between heuristic and algorithm, and now we need more explorers and more skeptics. We entered the augmented era, so each era is marked by a time span and how we use tools. Started back in the hunter-gatherer era. Back in the hunter-gatherer era, it was strength and speed. Fast forward to the information era, which is, I think, where most of us are stuck, is we focus on individual acquired skill and knowledge. The augmented era is collaboration, creativity, adaptation. We had different ways we valued knowledge in each era. In the information era, it was hyper-specialists. It was the person who had the expertise inside the expertise inside the expertise. Now we need folks who are neo-generalists. So you have a set expertise, but you know who you need to call and who you collaborate with, which I heard a lot of conversation about that in terms of what people buy law firms for is your ability to collaborate, especially across different types of expertise. And it changes our relationship with tools. So in the information era, if you were going to use a specific technology tool, you had to spend a lot of time learning it before you got any benefit out of it. Now we're starting to see more and more tools emerge, even if you look at something simply like ChatGPT, where you can get the benefit out of it as soon as you start playing with it. You're learning from and with the tool. So in reality, we've been in the augmented era for probably about 5 years. Our mental models are stuck between the industrial and the information era. If you look at our systems of education, which were designed to turn farm workers into factory workers, our systems of higher education that were there to codify and transfer predetermined skills and existing knowledge, and many of our structures of work. So we need to reimagine work and learning.